The school had already relocated, it had already been demolished. The owners had closed down, they had sold the school buses, they had eliminated even the buildings. So we came back to work only to find there was nothing. Some of the boarders are students whom I sponsor myself. The Form 4 class that right now they are doing exam next month. Those Form 4s, there are 8 students there who are my own sponsorship. Those who are able to pay the little fee that we charge, they will come, they will pay. Those who are not able to pay, we will try all means possible, maybe sending them home, making calls now and then. And if they don't, then I remember I have to light their path. So I got into a few debts which I've been paying, and I'll still continue paying until I'm done. But I couldn't let the vision die.
Hello, my viewer. A very good evening and actually a good night here in 254. We've just arrived at our guest very late and very late at night, but we thank God because we didn't come late because of traffic or what. We came late because of the rains that we are thanking God for. We've been so much in dry season, and we thank God that we're in the rains. As you can see where I am, I'm in a school, and I really thank God for this opportunity because my guest today takes us through the journey of becoming a founder of a very amazing secondary school somewhere in Kiambu County. And I want to welcome all of you just to sit back. And this is a story not only to encourage you, but to inspire you, and also to give you hope that you feel that you've come to an end, that you cannot achieve anything in life. No, there's always time, and it's not about age, it's not about number, it's just about your determination and not even losing hope to become what you want to become. So welcome back. All of you who are coming in for the first time, karibu sana, karibu, feel at home. Please subscribe, comment, like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time I upload a new video, you'll be among the first to be notified. And you that is always coming in, thank you so much. I love you all and God bless you. And without further ado, allow me to welcome my guest. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Kindly look at that camera and say hi to my people.
Hi everybody. Welcome to the show. We love to be here, and we are grateful for everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tell us your name.
My name is Elijah Mwangi Sipoi, and I hail from Kajiado County. That is my county of birth. And currently I'm working in Kiambu County. That is where I've been for the last 12 years.
Wow.
And
Elijah. Wow, Elijah.
Yeah.
Now, before even we get to Kiambu, just take us back a bit about your journey to where you've come from.
I'm a firstborn in a family of 8, and my home place is Kiserian, and I grew up just like any other nomadic child, and I went to primary school in a school called Naromoru Primary School, and when I cleared primary school, I went to high school. And I was privileged to be in one of the best schools in Kajiado County. It is called Olkejuado High School. Then after Olkejuado High School, I cleared there. I did well in Form 4, and I was admitted at the University of Nairobi, where I went to do Bachelor of Commerce. And I stayed there. In fact, I had challenges when I was in school because growing up as a firstborn, my parents are peasants, so there were challenges. But along the way, I got sponsorship, which took me all the way to Form 4. Then after Form 4, I also applied for another sponsorship with an organization known as Compassion International, where I was sponsored for the university partly. But unfortunately, the part that was to be paid by my parents, they really struggled, and at one point, I even had to drop out of university. And that made me now start fending for myself. So along the way, when I was still at college, I decided to do some part-time jobs, and I found myself in class teaching. I started teaching as an untrained teacher, and I was very good in physics and mathematics. And so I decided, because my parents are struggling so much, I can step in their shoes and help them. So I started hustling when I was just 19. So I started teaching, I continued teaching, and I had to stay long in university because of the challenges. In fact, it took me 8 years to do a degree. I got into the University of Nairobi in 2007, and I got out of there in 2014. That is when I graduated.
What?
Because along the way I had to drop out. I deferred in the middle of my, after second year, I dropped for 2 years, looked for some money, got some well-wishers here and there. Then I went back. So when I went back, I had to continue now from where I had stopped. But I had decided that whatever I begin, I had to finish. So by good luck, I finished. And I would not say by good luck, but by the hand of God.
Yeah.
I was able to clear, and now I graduated during the 52nd graduation in 2014. Then I continued. But along the way, as I started teaching, I developed that passion for teaching, and I found myself more of a teacher than a corporate person. In fact, I would enjoy teaching so much, and all the skills that I would learn in my course, BCom, I would apply them in class with the students, and I would see transformation every day until I came out to realize that my calling is in teaching. So by the time I'm finishing school, I had already thought of now spending the rest of my life in education, and that is why even today I'm still in education. Yeah.
So after finishing your education in the university, now you started applying in big schools, or what happened?
It happened that I did not apply because when I was in that year, I was working in a school. I was working in a school in Ngong. And when we were working with some of my colleagues there, and I'm a BCom student by that time, we thought of what if we start a school. And actually we started a school as a team of 7 people like-minded in 2011. We started a school. It was called Baraka Senior School. And when we started that school, we started now developing it from scratch. And it started growing. So by the time I was clearing my degree, I was already in a business that was doing very well. And in fact, I had no thoughts of even looking for a job because it was a school that was peaking, and because I had found my passion in teaching, I decided I'll have to go on and continue with the teaching. Unfortunately, sometimes later that partnership did not work, so I went back to square zero. But I did not look for a job still in any other sector. I went to education still. So I got another private school. I worked for a short while. Then I realized that because I have this calling in teaching and my training is BCom, I have to go back to school. And I was interested in not just throwing away the BCom. So I decided I will go for, instead of doing PGDE, I decided to go for advanced diploma in technical education. So I went to Kenya Technical Trainers College, and I was trained now as a trainer of teachers.
Okay.
And I did my pedagogy there. So I was now in a position now both to manage and to have all the educational tips with me, and to be able to deal with anything that comes my way in the education sector. And that now is the kind of training that topped up my degree. And now I feel comfortably that I am in education to stay.
So how many years did you go back again?
I went back for 3 years.
Wow.
Actually, it was a 1-year course, but it took 3 years. Because when I began, it was in 2019. And when I began the course, just before we finished, COVID came. And when COVID came, we were just about to clear so that we can now finish the course. Unfortunately, we couldn't.
Wow.
Because I was to finish in April of 2020. But the COVID came in March of 2020.
Wow.
So we had to wait. 2021, that is when I went back so that I could be able to clear. So it is just recent. And I did my best to do that.
Wow. So today I see you as the founder of True Vine Secondary School. How did you become the founder?
True Vine Secondary School, I've been on a journey with this school for quite some time. because I started working in Truvine in the year 2017. And I came in as a head teacher. And we worked together with the management that was there. And it was doing very well. And it reached a point because I was working very hard. I was entrusted with the high school sector. And I was told anything to do with high school you manage. So I started in management. I used my skills and all the skills that I have, and we managed the school until 2019 when COVID came.
2020.
So 2020. When COVID came, the school was experiencing challenges, just like any other private school. And it is in 2020 that the school was hit hard. It was hit hardest. Financially, the institution was on its knees now. It couldn't do anything. So what happened is that due to the loss that was occasioned by COVID, the school was closed down. The owners closed down, folded their bags, and they went away. And then it stayed for almost a whole year. In fact, we closed in March and we came back in October. But by October, when we were coming back, there was nowhere to go back to.
Why?
Because the school had already relocated, it had already been demolished. The owners had closed down, they had sold the school buses, they had eliminated even the buildings. So we came back to work only to find there was nothing. And because I was the leader, the principal, I would try now to negotiate with the owners and see what we could do. But it was futile because they had declared they will never do it. It was around that time when so many schools closed down, and there's those people who had schools had converted them to other things. So I picked up the pieces now because I had candidates that time. And for me as an educationist, I knew I would not leave candidates just like that. So I had to look for a place. So what I did in October, when the exams now are about to be done, the candidates came back in October 2020, the class 8s. We had class 8, we had Form 4s, and we had grade 4 that time. And all of them were to come back to school. There is nothing much I would have done about the primary section because that is not, my experience is not more on the primary. So, but for the secondary school, I got the students and I looked for a place where we could be hosted. A friend of mine who had a school hosted us for a whole term, and we were able to continue preparing for our exam. Then around November 2020, I got a very passionate vision that I need to start a school this time round, not as a partnership, but I need to do it myself with all that is in me. Because of that teaching severally and mingling with students, seeing the transformations, I decided no, Truvine is not going to die just like that. So I went back to the owners and I asked them, what if there is something that I can do? Do we just go home? Then I was told, he told me he's a pastor, he's a retired pastor. He told me, if there is anything you can do, go ahead. And so we had an agreement, we put it down and we agreed. Now, anything you can do, go ahead. And by that time I had nothing. But I've been given a go ahead. If you can pick up the pieces, whatever you can do. So that is the time now I got a friend of mine who hosted us because I didn't have any resource. But after being hosted until December of 2020, when we were now closing for that term, I got this very strong drive in me and a vision was reignited. The original vision that I had when we had started a school some years back. So I decided now I'm going to look for a place. Get a place. By the time we open school in January, I should have a place set up where the Form 1, 2, and 3 can come, where the Form 4s now can come and prepare for their exam, instead of continuing being in a refugee camp kind of school. And in December, I set my foot moving, and I started looking for a place that I could get rent, lease, And that time I was moving around with a bicycle. In fact, every place I would go, I would be asked, have you been sent? And I would tell, no, I'm not being sent. I'm the one looking for a facility because I want to start a school. And by good luck, I was able to get a place. And in December 2020, I got this place where we are in now. And I was able to get into an agreement without any money. I sourced from friends. We got the first about 10,000. We needed that for the lease agreement. We did the lease agreement. Then again, I contacted a few friends here and there. I got the little savings I had. I went to M-Shwari, thanks to technology. I got some money from there. By that time, there was also Fuliza. So I was able to accumulate about 50,000, which was now the seed. And we set up, we paid for the rent. Then we started from scratch now, converting some of the buildings here were for residential. They were plots, they were living rooms. We converted them. In fact, the people who were living in them had to be given a very short notice and they left. So we started now having a shortage of classes. And when I thought I had reached, immediately I realized that I don't have enough rooms. So January last year now, in 2021, I started now the process of building a class. And I was supposed to build it so fast because in March, the same class was to be used for KCSE. Because I've started, we have candidates who are at home. We have Form 1 to 3 who are supposed to open in January. And it was around December 18, so we have 2 weeks only. But within those 2 weeks, I was able, at least the first thing was to call the parents and show them the new place that we're going to be in and sell the idea to them that now we are under new management and we are starting over. And because we had been with them, they had built a lot of confidence. They supported me and I was very happy for that support. It gave me energy such that now by the time we are coming to January, I started building a class.
Wow.
Ask me how I got materials. I can't even explain because I called friends. I called a friend who connected me to another friend. The friend connected me to another friend who has a hardware. And then you have a friend who has a friend and there is a hardware and you need materials. I was supplied with materials.
You get all the equipment that you need.
I was supplied with materials, all the materials I needed. In fact, the only funds I had to look for was for the labor because we needed some fundi around. And then I called my former students because there are those students whom I taught several years ago. And some of them, when they heard that I'm establishing a school and we are building a class, they came. In fact, we were building with them. I have an album here. I could show you the photos of what they used to do. I took photos that time. This is when we came here. When we came here, this place looked like this. And these are now my former students doing the construction here. This is the place where we were. We were in a hall right now. That's the hall we built last year.
Okay.
It was just a field like this. This is exactly where we were inside. So these are my original Form 4s. If you look at this, it is
the year
2020, 18th December. The first day we came here. So within 2 weeks, God opened ways. And I got resources, I got the materials, then I got the little amount for the labor cost, and I got friends. In fact, those students were exchanging. My former students, today you could have 2 of them, tomorrow other 2, the other day for a whole 2 weeks. And within 2 weeks, a class was up.
Wow.
That was in January last year. And by the end of January, we now started seeing there is hope. And now the other students have opened now. Learning continued vis-a-vis a lot of activity outside here. Construction is going on. Classes are going on. I didn't have teachers. I'm doing interviews. I started doing my interviews without an office. Today you're very lucky you found an office.
Wow.
I didn't have an office. I did my first interviews on the corridors out there when construction was going on. And God is faithful. I got a team of teachers who have been very supportive. All of them graduates. In fact, they have been so helpful since we started with them. Although because of the challenges, some of them along the way, they gave up. We were experiencing so many challenges the whole of last year. and part of this year because we started without a good number. I had only 24 students, and with 24 students and you have 8 teachers and you have 4 other workers, support staff, so it's like you have half of the number of students is the number of workers I have. So but I tried my best to balance whatever was coming, and I couldn't avoid getting into debt. So I got into a few debts which I've been paying, and I'll still continue paying until I'm done. But I couldn't let the vision die. So the place now you find me today, I am now having a population of double that number because I'm now past 50. In fact, my Form 4s are going to sit for the exam here, the third group since we came here. Because in a span of 2 years, due to the changes in the calendar, the ones whom we were moving in with were in Form 4, they did exam in March 2021. Then the second group, the ones who were in Form 3, they did exam in March this year. Then the third group now is doing exam in March, in December. Coming December.
Wow.
In fact, we are preparing them now so that they can do exams. But it has not been a ride in the park because I've experienced a lot of challenges. Within those 2 years that I've been here, I have been threatened so much by the Ministry of Education, by some villagers, you know, people coming and saying, who are you? We don't know you. But I persisted so much. And in fact, what happened is that I opened a day wing because I needed also to attract the community. And when we started a day school and some of the children started coming in, within a term, they were all talking good about the school. And today we have, in fact, we have very many day scholars who have started joining us, and we are doing well, though the challenges are still there. But I say I can't complain because life itself is a gift.
It's a gift.
So myself, I offer myself to serve. I do my best with what I have, where I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many students currently do you have in the school?
Currently, we are heading to 60 students.
60 students.
Yes.
Wow.
We are heading to 60 and we are growing.
And I've seen we have borders.
Yes, I have borders. In fact, the borders are the ones that were making me actually look for a place where we could even at least have somewhere to board. Because some of the borders are students whom I sponsor myself. The Form 4 class that right now they are doing exam next month, those Form 4s, there are 8 students there who are my own sponsorship. What I did, I got in the year 2017, I went to a certain home. It is called Give Hope Children's Home. And I used to visit children's homes, and I love going to children's homes. And even when I was working in other schools, I would always take the students because I would be sometimes the CU patron, the mathematics club patron, and I would engage them in going visiting children's homes. So when I was working in Truvine in 2017, we went to a children's home and we found what the students were going through. And at that time, there were some candidates. So I promised them that I will come back. So we kept going there until they finished their exam. And we made an arrangement. I even negotiated for them to the former director. And he was able actually to absorb them. So they were absorbed under my name. And actually, that is one of the reasons why when COVID came in 2020, these students were just in Form 2. So I would imagine now the school has ended. I have 8 souls or 8 people whom I was standing in for. They were actually my greatest motivation because I would not imagine them not clearing high school. And today I'm very happy because in the next 1 month, they are exiting high school.
Wow.
And for 4 years, it has been a tough struggle with them, especially because of the COVID dilemma that came.
Wow, Elijah, your story just gives me hope. And I know even my viewer out there who is maybe was about to give, just to lose hope with life, can see that you're a very determined person. And despite the challenges that you're going through, you're still working hard to make sure that you still achieve your dreams and give these students the best. So currently, as we speak, what are the pressing challenges that you're going through? Maybe one of the viewers or any viewers out there might think of just coming in and chipping in, what is that pressing challenge that is really pressing you?
Okay. At the moment, there are a number of challenges, but the most immediate challenge is the challenge of we are in the process of admitting the junior secondary, because we have been preparing for that. And we have actually mobilized parents since September so that we can come up with we build a class for the junior secondary. And actually it has been practically impossible. I even had a parents' day yesterday, and everybody is crying foul, crying foul. So our immediate challenge right now is the putting up of a CBC class because of the transition, so that by January we have a CBC class. And we also have a challenge of, we have lab equipment. Having done KCSE for over 5 years, we have accumulated a lot of lab equipment. We have been using them for exams, but we normally convert a class every time we need to use a lab. So we are also planning that if the resources allow, we can put up a lab so that we can be able to have a full-fledged lab by next year. And then we will be able now to accommodate students in junior together with Form 1s, because the Form 4s are exiting. So we have that challenge of putting up the structures so that we can be able to accommodate them. And another one very pressing, but now this one I carry it with my heart, because sometimes you have brought students. I have talked about 8 who are in Form 4 right now. I have others, almost 10, who are struggling, totally struggling. In fact, I have 2 girls in Form 2 who they were admitted in Form 1, then the parent is always on a runaway. They don't want to pick my calls, they don't want to be available. In March this year, I sent them for school fees. You know, sometimes you are pressed to the wall, and even if you want to assist, you cannot. When I sent them in March, they stayed until almost June. They never came back to school, and they are girls. So I decided I have to go look for them. And when I made my follow-up, I realized they have never gone to any other school. They are just roaming around, and they come from a place whereby most of the students there, they dropped out. So I had even to engage the community health workers, the CHV. I called the CHV in, it's a place called GD within this Kiambaa. So I called the CHV and I engaged her so that she can go to that home, follow up the parent, at least to know what is happening. Finally, the girls were brought back to school. But since they came back to school in May, we are now in November. I've never received any payment or any fee from them. The parent blacklisted me. Even if I call her, even right now when we are with you, my phone doesn't go through. It reaches a point that when the girl wants to talk home, I tell her, look for any other number, and she can look even for a number for an uncle, a neighbor, and then they talk to the parent. And in case I want to talk to the parent through the same number, the parent will know it is me and switch off. So I'm left in between there. And those are now 2. There are others who are also struggling, very high fee balances and all that. But there is one thing I said with myself, that I learned from a candle. A candle, when it is lighting, it lights the way for everybody. In fact, a candle is very nice because you cannot even know the worth of a candle until there is a blackout. And there is a blackout, that is when you realize even a candle is better than electricity. So I take my life as a candle. A candle will light the way for others, but as it continues lighting the way for others, it gets consumed in the process. And it produces light until one day it cannot produce any other light, so it is fully consumed. And I decided now my life will just be like the life of a candle. So those who are able to pay the little fee that we charge, they will come, they will pay. Those who are not able to pay, we will try all means possible, maybe sending them home, making calls now and then. And if they don't, then I remember I have to light their path. Because unfortunately we are in a situation whereby nowadays parents are giving up. I've experienced parents giving up on their daughters, on their sons. So what I do, when I realize that the situation is too bad and I cannot help it, so I will take it upon myself now to ensure that child at least goes through the schooling system. I have filled bursary forms for my children, for my Form 1s, Form 2s. Myself, I go, I make a line, and I look for the form, I fill it as if they are my own children. And in the process, even if I call the parent to bring the birth certificate, you know, those documents, they will not. Because some of them do not even want their children to get past where they got. You know, there are those people who, they see the child can also suffer because I'm also suffering. So those are some of the very weighty challenges that I go through. But I thank God because I am now, He has enabled me to always carry them along. And I am now seeing them clear school one by one, one by one. Last year, one cleared who had a debt of 70,000. A boy I took in Form 2, he was struggling. He was from a family that was struggling so much. And when they came, they only paid fees 1 when he was in Form 2. I sent him home on and off. He would go 1 month, come back with 1,000 shillings. He goes home again, almost 2 weeks, come back with nothing. And it reached a point and I declared that child, I'll never send him home. Today, he has cleared. He had a debt of over 70,000. When he came for his results, I told him, you take your results, go do something. As we speak, he's in welding and he's doing very well. He's earning his own money. So I told him, now you go ahead, build your life. Because his older sisters, his parents, they had like left him for himself. So I have such cases. I have such students who really need support. And the support that I can give them, I just give what I can.
I know.
And what I can give them is offer them an environment to learn. Prepare them for cases, at least they do exam. So that means I also have a challenge of salaries. And that has actually affected us so much because when salaries are late, the workers will become disgruntled. They will feel like their morale is low. So our turnover also, especially last year, it was not very nice because we were losing teachers so much. This year, the ones that we have had, they have been very patient. So even if the salaries are late, they wait for the little collections, at least we are doing well. And we thank God because we are moving. We are moving. We may not be running. We may not be running. We may not even be walking, but we are crawling.
To be very honest, I am so impressed, and even having that passion, you just want to light the candle despite whatever you're going through. And even before we wind up, I just want to say I really congratulate you, and I pray that may God continue giving you that strength, because we have seen, me being also a parent, I've seen my son always being sent home for school fees, and there are teachers and school organization that they do not have a heart that you have a heart. Or today you have taught me so much, and I'm very sure even my viewer out there has learnt a lot. And before we end up this video, I would want maybe you just talk to our fellow Kenyans out there. I know they are very good in well wishers, how maybe they can reach you, they can help you maybe build that laboratory, that class, and also maybe also help you to cater for the kids that are still here and they don't have anyone to cater for their education. Just look at that camera and just talk to our fellow Kenyans.
Lesha, thank you very much. Fellow Kenyans and viewers, I would like to say that the challenge that I'm dealing with is Herculean, and for me it has taken determination to get to where I am. Although the challenge is so big, but you have to be equal to the task. So it doesn't matter what happens to you. We may be faced by very many challenges, but I always say do what you have. Do what you can do with what you have, where you are. At the moment, I'm doing what I can do with what I have. I have very little resources. In fact, at the moment, our registration status as a school, because we relocated, when we relocated from the other side, it happened that we have to register afresh. So I am seeking assistance in terms of setting up a lab. Actually, that is our only obstacle at the moment. We have we have gone through all the steps. We have gone through the supervision, and it is only the lab that is preventing us from being re-registered again. And actually that has affected us in a way that even our Form 4s, we will always have to take them. They have been hosted in another school to do KCSE as we await the construction. So I would really appreciate any kind of assistance that we can get, so that we can set up the CBC classroom, so that we can set up the lab, and so that in the next year, 2023, we can have at least a recognition again, because we have been undergoing a lot. We have been going through a lot of challenges. So if you want to reach me, my contact is 0724 533 763, and you can also use 0799 38 50 16, 0799 38 50 16. Our school is called Truvine High School, and I would also want to mention that our school before COVID was the best in Kiambaa sub-county. It was the best private school in Kiambaa sub-county. The records are there to show that. We did very well in 2019, we did very well in 2020, and we have been doing very well even now when we are not doing exam within the region because of the challenges of relocation and what we have been experiencing. But very soon we are doing our best so that we get back on our feet, so that we can continue doing our best.
Wow, Teacher Elijah, I'm so impressed. And what I can say is I wish you the very best. And I know even this year you shall do the best, and we shall come here to celebrate the doings of the Lord.
Thank you very much.
Just talking to those students, I could tell the motivation that they have, and they have so big dreams, and I know they are going to make you proud, and also make Truvine proud.
Amen.
I'm so happy. Despite coming late, you welcoming us and opening the doors for us, and we can't wait again to come back here and just seeing the constructions going on. And I know Kenyans will come through, and your dreams will be achieved in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Amen.
And I would also want to mention that we have a Facebook page. It's called Truvine High.
Oh, at least someone can get all the information about your school there. Wow, that is very nice. Do you have a website?
We do not have a website yet because we are still in the startup stage.
Okay.
We are experiencing very many teething problems, which we hope will be over.
It's like
we are very grateful.
Thank you
in
so
fact, it is an honor. May God bless you mightily. We are more than happy to have you here.
Thank you so.
And you're welcome again and again.
We will come again.
Yeah, come to Truvine, make it your home. And here our motto is aspire to inspire before you expire.
Wow.
And we also have a tagline. We always say it every morning with our students. We say, it is possible, it can be done, and it will be done.
Amen.
Yes.
Wow,
so
that's
we are very grateful.
Thank you so
much.
God
bless you too.
You bless you. Thank you so much, my viewer. Thank you for always tuning in and consuming my content. You that is there and feeling that you want to lose hope, just hearing from Elijah's story, I don't think you should lose hope. I have learned a lot from this story, and I can't wait to continue pursuing my dreams and just running after what I want to be, what I want to do, what I want to achieve in life. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Thank you for always consuming my content. Kindly subscribe, like, share, comment, and it will be my pleasure if I hear you guys. We come together and build a laboratory and also CBC class for Truvine High School. I'll be very glad. Until next time, shalom and God bless. Have a good night.